Hi everyone, my name's Slivinski and I'm here at Solid Foundations Therapy. Today I want to share with you a monthly therapy tip regarding the topic of motivation. Oftentimes I get the question, Lauren, I have these goals and I so desperately want to tackle them, but I don't have the motivation. What do I do? So today I'm here to share with you a little bit of background on motivation and then also share 2 important tips to help you kind of harness that motivation that you do find in your life to try and take it to that next step, right? To start those healthy habits, to complete those goals that you've always wanted to start and achieve. So a little bit of background on motivation is that there are 2 forms of motivation that you can experience, which are both intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic meaning coming from within you, feeling a sense of accomplishment, feeling proud of yourself, feeling like you did it. That would be intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation would be something that comes from outside of you, right? Extrinsic, external, which would come as a form of a compliment or praise from another person, potentially in the form of someone noticing that you're doing something that was a goal or that you felt motivated to do and them commenting, right? Them noticing that. Those would kind of be the ways that motivation comes, right? You see something outside of yourself that encourages you to do something, or you feel it within, or you're reaching for that feeling, right? Which is what motivates you to act. So the 2 tips that I want to share with you are the 5-second rule and then also the 15-minute timer. So in starting with the 5-second rule, what I want to share with you about this tool is that the purpose of it is to kind of take whatever motivation that comes your way, whether it comes from within you to feel that sense of accomplishment, comes from outside of you to receive some compliments, some praise of doing something different or better, is that when you feel that motivation, that you kind of take 5 seconds to harness that and then do something about it, right? Doing something within counting from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and making sure by 1, you are getting up and moving, or you're getting up and you're making a plan, or you're doing something that relates to that goal based on that source of motivation for you. And so ultimately what this does is that it helps interrupt some of those habit loops that you have in your brain so that you can kind of form new habits, right? And so instead of saying, I'm sitting in this chair and without using that 5-second rule, it's a lot easier for me to continue this habit of staying in this chair versus if I would count backwards from 5 to 1 and said, okay, by 1 I have to move, then I'm encouraged by that timer, essentially a timer, to get up and do something different. So the next tool is similar in a sense, in which it is called the 15-minute timer. So the 15-minute timer will kind of help you not only get up and go, get up and move, do something towards your goal, but it also helps with productivity as well. So in setting a 15-minute timer, this is not a hard and fast rule. You can make it a 30-minute timer. You can make it an hour timer. I typically just stick with 15 because I know that a lot of people have busy schedules and it's hard to fit in bigger tasks sometimes. So the rationale behind setting a timer is to kind of tell yourself and coach yourself through the idea that I'm setting this timer for 15 minutes and say, this is the source of motivation, right? To do something that I've been needing to do all day. Let's use the example of dishes, right? There's a mountain of dishes in the kitchen and I really just have been avoiding it, right? And so what I tell myself is, okay, I'm going to set a 15-minute timer on my phone. And so I'm making the commitment that I will get up and go do the dishes for as long as that timer is on. And then once the timer goes off, essentially I'm off the hook, right? What this does is not only gets you up to move, to say, okay, I'm making this small commitment. 15 minutes, I can do that. There's 24 hours in a day. But then once you're kind of doing that task, right? Once I'm I'm in the task, I'm working through the motions of doing the dishes, there is a higher likelihood of me completing that task. I'm just finishing it, right? I'm in the groove. I'm doing it. Let me just do all of the dishes versus having to come back and do this all again later. With that being said, though, if the 15-minute timer does go off and motivation is gone, you're done, you don't want any more of it, then stop, right? You can still feel like you got that a little bit of intrinsic motivation to feel accomplished in the sense that I did something, right? I did something for 15 minutes. I got up. But then also, I was able to do that, right? I was able to say, okay, I thought about doing the dishes. I acted on it, and then I completed it, which is something that maybe I wouldn't have done if I stayed in my original habit loop. So with those two tools, hopefully that gives you some ways, some new unique strategies for going about taking motivation, whether it comes from inside of you or comes from outside of you, to kind of harness that and use it to make some new habits in your life. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to me, and stay tuned for more tips.